In April 2009, when Stephanie Parente did not attend classes on a certain Monday, friends and officials got concerned as they knew she wouldn't miss her final exams. The officials from her college reached out to a certain hotel, requesting a welfare check on Stephanie and her family. Upon attempting to enter the room that had been reserved by the family, a housekeeper discovered the door was locked, with no response coming from the inside. When the hotel staff members finally gained entry to the room, what they discovered in the grisly scene sent chills to their spines. Investigations were carried out, unveiling the grim reality of what had transpired in the room, shocking not only those familiar with the family, but also residents of the town and even the entire state. This is the horrific case of the Parente family. William Michael Parente was born on July 20, 1949, in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, where his parents, Willie and Rocalyn Parente, laid the foundation of his upbringing. Hailing from a lineage tied to law enforcement, with his father serving as a New York trooper, Parente's childhood was solitary, being the sole focus of his parents' attention. Summers were spent basking in the sun with family in Long Beach. His educational journey led him through the halls of Brooklyn College and Brooklyn Law School, with a guiding hand from his uncle, Anthony J. Russo, who generously funded his tuition. Within the bustling atmosphere of his Manhattan office on the Avenue of the Americas, Parente earned the respect of his colleagues as a diligent legal professional and devoted family man. His demeanor was characterized by unwavering courtesy, extending even to his loyal secretary, while his work ethic saw him immersed in his tasks for long, though not excessive, hours. Not one for indulging in profanity or post-work gatherings for drinks, Parente's disciplined lifestyle set him apart in the legal realm. He didn't even curse or talk rudely to anyone even on bad days. In 1977, Parente tied the knot with Betty Mazzarella. Following his admission to the New York bar, he embarked on a career journey that initially led him to a prestigious Wall Street law partnership. However, a significant turning point arose in 1988 when Betty's pregnancy with their first child prompted Parente to transition into private practice. This pivotal decision coincided with the family's relocation to Garden City, New York, an affluent community nestled in Nassau County, Long Island. Despite their new suburban setting, the Parente family maintained strong ties to Parente's Brooklyn roots. They frequently revisited his old neighborhood, indulging in local delicacies, reconnecting with lifelong friends, paying visits to his mother, and reliving cherished childhood memories, such as their annual Halloween tradition of trick-or-treating in familiar surroundings alongside their daughters. At the age of 60, William Parente was a seasoned estate and tax attorney, operating his practice from a firm located in a shopping center in Queens. Meanwhile, his wife, Betty Mazzarella, aged 58, devoted her time to homemaking duties while actively organizing charity fundraisers within their local community. Betty also played a significant role in church activities, deeply ingrained in the fabric of their neighborhood's social tapestry. The couple shared the joys of parenthood with two daughters, Stephanie and Catherine. Stephanie, the elder daughter, was 19 at the time and pursuing her studies as a sophomore at Loyola College in Towson, about 3 hours away from her hometown. Her academic focus lay in speech pathology, with aspirations of pursuing dentistry in the future. Stephanie's amiable nature endeared her to both classmates and faculty alike, maintaining strong ties with her friends back home in Garden City as well. Their younger daughter, Catherine, aged 11, possessed remarkable talent and was adored by the teachers and staff at Garden City Middle School. Her precocious abilities showcased her potential to flourish in various endeavors, painting a bright future ahead for this cherished member of the Parente family. Towards the later stages of his legal career, Parente ventured into what he termed bridge loans, effectively assuming the role of a financial intermediary, sort of similar to a bank. Allegedly, Parente utilized assets from investment portfolios under his stewardship to finance these loans. When at least one investor requested the return of their funds, Parente found himself unable to promptly fulfill the request or effectively justify his inability to do so. On April 15, 2009, William Parente, accompanied by his wife Betty and their youngest daughter Catherine, embarked on a trip to Towson to surprise Stephanie, their eldest daughter. They secured room 1029 at the Sheraton Hotel near the Towson Town Center Mall, with reservations extending until the 19th. Upon their arrival, Stephanie's friend said she was surprised by the unexpected visit, especially considering that everyone had just recently returned to classes following a brief Easter break, and Stephanie's current focus was preparing for an upcoming chemistry exam. Adding to the intrigue was the fact that the parents had a pre-arranged visit scheduled for Friday the 17th, involving an on-campus meeting to discuss Stephanie's potential study abroad plans in England. Despite the initial surprise, the visit unfolded like any other family reunion. The events of that fateful day remain shrouded in ambiguity, but based on the evidence that was uncovered, the sequence of events unfolded as follows. Betty Mazzarella, Parente's wife, was the first to fall victim on that Sunday morning. She was subjected to a brutal assault, suffocation, and left lifeless in bed. Shortly thereafter, Catherine, their youngest daughter, met a similar fate, succumbing to the same violent methods as her mother and being placed beside her. Later in the afternoon, Stephanie arrived at the hotel after leaving her campus. Tragically, she too met a grim demise, mirroring the fate of her mother and sister, and was laid beside them on the bed. None of the victims displayed any signs of struggle, and neither evidence of drugging nor physical restraint was found. William Parente meticulously orchestrated the annihilation of his family on that somber Sunday, the 19th. At around midnight, one of Stephanie's close friends and roommates grew increasingly concerned about her absence from their dorm room. After numerous hours of fretting over Stephanie's whereabouts, the roommate decided to call the hotel room phone in an attempt to reach her. Aware of Stephanie's intention to return to her dorm to study for final exams, the roommate was taken aback when Parente, Stephanie's father, answered the call instead. Parente provided an explanation for Stephanie's absence, citing that she was staying at the hotel with family. Accepting the excuse, the roommate ended the call, unaware of the grim reality that Stephanie had already met her demise. Reflecting on the conversation, the roommate later recalled that Parente's demeanor over the phone seemed somewhat unusual, deviating from his usual self. In the early hours of Monday morning, Parente took his own life by using a knife purchased from the mall adjacent to the hotel. He inflicted fatal wounds upon himself, ultimately succumbing to his injuries in the hotel bathroom. Hotel staff became aware of the family's failure to check out on Monday, and there was growing concern from Loyola College regarding Stephanie's unexplained absence from classes and her complete non-attendance for the day, especially during a crucial time for her final exams, which raised red flags. Officials from the college reached out to the hotel, urging them to conduct a welfare check on Stephanie and her family. Around 3 p.m., a housekeeper attempted to enter the family's room on the 10th floor. Encountering a locked door and receiving no response, the housekeeper alerted other staff members to the situation. Shortly thereafter, a hotel manager proceeded to enter the room, initially discovering the lifeless body of William Parente in the bathroom, having taken his own life using a knife. The manager promptly contacted emergency services. Continuing the grim task, the manager ventured further into the room, where he uncovered the harrowing sight of 3 bodies meticulously arranged on one of the beds. The deceased included Betty Mazzarella, along with their 2 daughters, Stephanie and Catherine. The Baltimore County Police were swiftly summoned to the scene, prompting the relocation of all other guests occupying the 10th floor. As part of the investigative process, law enforcement officials also seized the family's Mercedes-Benz SUV from the hotel's parking lot. Police investigations determined that Parente perpetrated the tragic murder-suicide of his family on that Sunday, as previously mentioned. While the exact sequence of events remains shrouded in horror, authorities identified the causes of the deaths as asphyxiation and blunt force trauma. Betty and the younger daughter, Catherine, were presumed to be the initial victims, followed by Stephanie. Law enforcement theorized that one of William's final interactions was with Stephanie's suitemate, who attempted to reach Stephanie via a phone call around midnight. However, Stephanie had already fallen victim to her father's violence by that time. Shortly after this call, it is believed that he proceeded to the bathroom where he took his own life using a knife purchased earlier from the mall. The chilling events left investigators grappling with the unimaginable horror that the family endured. Although no suicide note was left by Parente, investigators began to speculate that his decision to murder his family and then take his own life might have been driven by the mounting scrutiny of his involvement in a potential fraud case. Specifically, Parente was linked to a Ponzi scheme, a fraudulent investment scheme that involved using funds from new investors to pay existing ones, often leading to substantial financial losses. This scheme, which had allegedly defrauded investors of approximately $20 million, resulted in direct complaints against Parente, with one investor reporting a loss of $450,000. Financial investigations revealed that checks totaling $245,000 issued by Parente to investors had bounced, prompting further complaints to the New York Attorney General's office. Following Michael's demise, some investors disclosed that they had suffered multi-million-dollar losses. However, as highlighted by a fellow attorney, monetary losses can be recuperated, but the irreplaceable loss of lives underscores the gravity and tragedy of the situation. Friends and family grappled with a mix of sorrow and anger in the wake of the tragedy. At Loyola College, Stephanie's friends organized a service on Monday night to honor her memory. Meanwhile, the once lively family home transformed into a somber space, adorned with heartfelt tributes like flowers and candlelit vigils. Upon hearing the devastating news, Catherine's classmates at Garden City Middle School came together to dedicate a poignant football game in her honor, offering a collective gesture of remembrance and solidarity. Within the span of less than a week, Maryland had witnessed two separate instances of familicide. The other case involved Christopher Wood, who was from Middletown, a town in Maryland, which occurred on April 16th, less than 4 days from the other one taking place. The close temporal and geographical proximity of these tragedies garnered significant media attention, prompting discussions about the correlation between economic hardship and incidents of familicide and suicide. A funeral service was held to commemorate Betty and her daughters at St. Joseph's Church in Garden City. According to reports from Garden City Life, Catherine's middle school classmates were transported by bus to attend the service. Stephanie's college peers made a significant effort to join the event, driving from Towson and arriving as early as 4 a.m. to be part of the morning ceremony. The family was laid to rest at St. Charles Cemetery in East Farmingdale, New York, where they were buried together. In contrast, William Parente received a separate private funeral service at a different location. He was cremated, but the specific whereabouts of his ashes were not disclosed to the public. The sorrowful and regrettable circumstances endured by all the victims in the face of this merciless perpetrator are deeply distressing. As we reflect on this horrific tale, our hearts and minds are with the individuals whose lives were abruptly ended and the grieving families and friends they left behind. If you found this video compelling, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.